Hello, good morning. Happy Wednesday. I had to look down and actually verify that that is today, but halfway through the week. Last night I finished working on the Stripe stuff. Move this a little bit closer too, so that. Hi, Sylvie. I just fed you too, so I don't want to play with you too hard. That will come later. Okay. I think volume is good. I think we're good there. Oh, you can only barely see his feet. Oh, that's too bad. Okay, so today we're moving on to the next thing we're going to be investigating, which is a GraphQL with Yew.rs. But of course, before we start working on that, we need a GraphQL target. And that's where today's topic comes in. We are going to set up, I guess I'm going to set up a new repository, and this is going to be for the centralized, I guess, like the database that everything will work on. So, Slibby, it's okay. Let me make sure that he's not actually scared of something. So, I will be right back. He seems to be okay, but he didn't want to be held around here. Sylvia's okay. I don't want you running and jumping like from play for like another hour or so. I try not to let him play too much after he eats. That way he can digest without like just, interrupting all that. But we'll see. Maybe I need to switch my routine up a little bit in the morning. Okay, yeah. So today we're going to be figuring out some Docker stuff. So inside of Docker, we're going to set up a Postgres database. Another one will have Hasura in it, and then we'll sort of connect the two together. Whenever I think of like connecting two containers together, obviously there's networking involved, but I usually pull out Docker Compose because just by default, everything's already in the same network and it makes things super easy. So I'm thinking about that. That's what we're going to do today. So to begin with, I need to create a project for this. And actually, do I have one already? Let me check here. Guess it would database. No, okay, so there's no, I don't have like one just called database. So I'm just gonna create a new repo. Text is too large. Oh yeah, you're right. We should make this like, yeah, that what's the best is that if I can't see it also, then clearly it's the best size. I think that's how it works, right? Sorry about that. Also, good morning, Uncle Scientist. I didn't check this morning. Were you streaming today? And how has the compiler stuff been going? Let's see. So I'm going to call this Brooks builds. I think I'll just call this like database. So main database and or scripts and tools to control the main database for Brooks builds universe. I don't know. You can be public. Sure. Oh, you could not stream this morning, but you will tomorrow. Compiler is going great. Oh, awesome. That is great to hear. I'm fascinated by that compiler project that you're working on, and at the same time, I'm more attracted to the roguelike. And I think that's just like the gamer part of me. It's been too long since I've done any game dev type stuff, so now I want to do that. Have I looked at the OS and Rust? No, I haven't. Somebody actually yesterday asked me if I wanted to look into like OS dev in Rust and like create tutorials for how to do it, because they liked my style, and I really appreciate that, but unfortunately I just don't have the patience for that type of dev. A mini roguelike. Let's see. I wonder. I've been wanting to like do more things that are like stream, like that the stream can work together with, and that Twitch chat can participate in, and like maybe like a roguelike that Twitch chat can play, and like it's on screen. Maybe something like that could be interesting. But I don't know how to make one, so there's some skills I would need to learn in that, and it's like I'm trying to set up all this stuff first so that I have like, you know, Brooks builds things going on, and then maybe we'll take a break and make a fun project. Okay, so we have our database repo here. I mean, there's not really much. Twitch plays make a roguelike. Oh, a roguelike to make a roguelike. That could be interesting. I have this strange desire to like mix different genres that really shouldn't be mixed to try to make a game there. So something like a roguelike mixed with, I don't know, like a MOBA. Just like things that seem insane. That seems to be like what my brain right now is like going towards. Which I don't know what that means for me. Okay, so I have this. We're gonna want first a database, and then Hasura. Connect them together. Well, setting that up, we need a Docker Compose file. I always forget exactly what we need for this, so let's go ahead and get the reference up. Did they change this again? It used to be that you'd choose a version. Wait, is 3 a legacy version now? Huh. Well, look at that. Version is now deprecated. So this is updated. We just start with services, I guess. Yeah, services. Okay. Okay. There is now a top level name that can be used for the compose project name. So like I have database here, but because I might have like some other database type stuff that I ever do in the future, what I might call we can do name is Brooks builds database. Then I guess we just go straight to services. And so there, okay, so I'm not gonna build this one. So Postgres is first. That comes from an image. I don't think I need to override a command. Is everything still on the default network? I guess we'll find out. We might have to set the platform. Because, so this is a MacBook Pro on the M1 Pro or Max or whatever chip. There's a possibility, and I've noticed with some other ones, sometimes you have to set the, tell it exactly what the architecture is that you want it to run on. Otherwise, it will sort of like screw up a little bit. That's especially true if I'm building images and then shipping them off to like AWS or someplace like ECS to run. I found that out the hard way. Okay, so ports, we want the, I think ports also. I want this also. Volumes is pretty good to have, but I think the documentation, stacking, hello, on the M1 you want bullseye. Really? I haven't looked at bullseye, or any of those architectures. It's usually just been building for other architectures, like to run somewhere else. Although if you just have an image and then you just build it on the other thing, then it's just fine and you don't need to worry about it at all. Okay, so for Postgres here. So we do need these environment file variables. Did I miss environment variables? I must have. Environment? Oh, environment variables. Okay, so for some reason I thought environment was, the GitHub Actions has an idea of an environment and then environment variables, which is interesting to say the least and a little bit confusing. But okay, environment. And then this syntax is like this. So it's not an array. It's just key value pairs in an object. So we need a Postgres password. And I like keyboard cat. It looks like there's also, oh no, that's the password again. Postgres password is the only required one. Everything else, okay, so Postgres user will, okay, so right now I think it's going to be set to Postgres, and I think that's going to be fine. Postgres DB will also be Postgres. Okay, that should be fine for this. I could create a volume to store in here. Okay, I don't. Is there still a volumes? It'd be a root level thing. Okay, yeah, so they still have this. So volumes, and we just give the name of a volume. So we can have like I guess we'll just have like data. And this is null essentially. So I don't have any like configuration options for it necessarily right now, but we can use it later. And so now I can actually use this volume in here. So we're gonna say volume name is gonna be data, and then container path. So that we have to look in here where does it store? Where does it store the data? In here. We could change that, but I don't need to. I just want to now set a data volume to store this. I can also do like read write or read only, but I think that the default is read write. That'll be fine. I think this is good for us to go. I really think that there's anything else we need to like worry about here. Oh, you know what? An init script. So we want a Postgres. I guess we'll just call it init.sql right now. And this is where we have to basically create stuff. So what is it going to be? I don't think I have to create the database itself here. I think it's just creating like the tables and starting to work on that. So create table if not exists. This part of the documentation is so hard to read. But okay, we can do create table if not exists, table name, and then it's open parentheses, and then we have column name, data type, and then just other stuff. Potentially any constraints. You always use a table builder. I've been trying to get like better at my SQL stuff, so I just try to practice it when I can. Because yeah, like oftentimes if I'm working in JavaScript, I'm using connects like almost all the time. And then once you get Hasura going, it becomes kind of like cheat mode because you could just do everything in there, but I do want to automate it. And I don't necessarily want to pull in like a library just for this. Okay, so it's gonna be column name, data type, and then any constraints if I want it. So I don't necessarily have anything right now that I want to do, want to set this up with. So I think, see, is there? We could do. We were talking about roguelike type things. We can do like game types. So like games. And now in here, use a website to just output the SQL table, then copy and paste. Oh, that's that is definitely a way to do it. That actually, it's probably a smart way to do it. Is there a linter for SQL? Because like if I can get that would be nice too. Okay, so now I want it was column name. So the column name here, we want ID. This is Postgres, so I think I can just do sequence. And that's like data type and other stuff. I can actually come down to their examples way at the bottom. Why is it DID now? Is there a reason for that? Am I just like super old school for only calling it ID? Okay, no. Here is ID. Oh, and it's serial. Okay, I bet it's serial, not sequence. Distributor's ID? Maybe, yeah. Okay, so then we can do name and text. So we can just do like name is varchar 255. And I think that's enough, like just initial setup. I want to, in here now, we want to set up another volume that's going to put this init in there. So we are currently in the dev directory. So I want init.sql. And I want to put you in to slash here. Okay, so put that file into here, and then it should read that at initialization. If the database isn't like really set up yet, the first time it runs, it's going to set it up. So I kind of want to try this and see whether or not it works and we have that database shows up. A quick Google shows a tool on GitHub called SQL Fluff for linting SQL. Ooh, is there an extension? I saw it for a second, and then it disappeared behind SQL database. It was here for a second. Where'd it go? A linter auto formatter for SQL Fluff. A popular linting tool for SQL. Okay. Do I have to have SQL Fluff installed? Yeah, the expectation expects SQL Fluff to be installed and already added to my path, which I don't have right now. So I might do that later. So I'm gonna write that down. So install SQL linter SQL Fluff. Okay, so I have this here. I should be able to now come back to terminal and cd into dev, and we're going to do a docker compose up. Okay. Or we do need a version. Fine. I think 3.9 was the one we used the last time. Legacy versions. Oh, 3.8. 3.8. Try it again. Right, because name is only in the new one, which doesn't have a version number on it. So oh, is my Docker running? That would also potentially cause it not to work. Just possibility though. Okay, let's try this again. There we go. Okay, so now it's setting everything up. It brought all this in. We should have a database running now. Okay. Now, what I can do to verify is I'm gonna create a new tab, and we're gonna do a Docker compose PS, and it shows that it is up, it is running, Postgres is running. So I should be able to do a Docker compose exec Postgres, and then the command I want to run, which in this case is PSQL. So, but as user Postgres. Did I get that wrong? Is it the command first and then... Wait, let's try bin bash. Oh, okay. I got the command. Okay, command is wrong. So it doesn't know... Oh, I did /PSQL. That's what the problem was. Okay, so now in here, I should be able to do PSQL dash host is going to be automatically localhost. So I should just do user Postgres. We're in already. Okay. I should be able to do, what is it? It's like DT. To list like the tables. Table. I'm not seeing that. What do we call games? Okay, so games doesn't exist. So this did not work. Was there an error? Ignoring this. Oh. At the very bottom behind me. Oh wait, that's mine. Relation to games. This is logs from me trying to display it. So did I see anything where it's like trying to create the table? That's interesting. So it's ignoring Docker entry point init db.d, which is where we put that file. Oh, yeah, that's a problem. It's colon. So take this and put it into here. Okay, so Oops. Let's try this again. Appears to contain a database, so that's not correct. So it's not going to rerun that now. Okay, so Docker compose down, and then I need to remove that. I need to remove the volume. So Docker volume. Dev data. Bring this back up. Okay, and now we're getting errors. Create table if not exists, games, ID, serial, name, varchar, syntax error at or near name. I forgot a comma. And so it begins. Oh, contains a database. So each time we do this, I have to do a Docker compose down, remove that volume, Docker compose up. Here we go. Create table. So over here again, we reconnect in here, except now I should be able to, now I know PSQL, Yew, Postgres. I should be able to do there, DT. So we have games. Is it like DL? There's some way to like list the information about the table, and I forget exactly what that is. Table itself will just print everything out about that table. So like table games just says, hey, we have an ID and a name. I forget, like, is it just D? Oh, it is. Okay, so see, ID is name, integer, character. Okay, so ID integer. It is not nullable. It's not nullable. And next val. So the ID looks correct. The name is nullable, and that's fine for like what we're going to be playing around with right now. Okay, awesome. So we have a Postgres database up. Next up is going to be Hasura. So let's do a down on this until we get that set up. Okay, so for services, next up is Hasura. We need to go look at that. Okay, it's by Hasura. I think that this is right. Although I see Hasura CI. Let's go find Hasura's website, and it should tell us where they have where their Docker stuff is. Okay, it is Hasura /GraphQL -engine which is this one, Hasura GraphQL engine. Okay, excellent. So this is what I want here. All right, so we're gonna do image. I can just do latest for this one. Port, it looks like port 8080 internally is exposed. We use 8080 a lot for our own internal development. So what I might do is map a different port to port 8080. So let's do, first of all, never remember which one is, I think, okay, so expose is what exposes to other systems. That's not necessary for this one. Postgres it is. I think for you, it's just ports. And then you, it's gonna be, I want 8000 to map to 8080 internally. Then what is the database URL? Okay, so this database URL is, it sort of has this like Postgres : // then it's going to be username : password. So the username is Postgres : keyboard cat, and then I think it's the @ symbol, and then we tell it where it is. Well, in this case, it's Postgres. That's the name of the database here. Port 5432, and then /database name, which I think is default. Oh, Postgres. GraphQL enable console. I definitely want the console to be enabled here too. Do I want to depends on? Oh yeah, that's probably a really good idea. Depends on Postgres. Yeah, they have that here too. Let's see, what else do they have? So it is possible to set an admin secret for this to force you to log in. And I think that might be a good idea because in the real world, we're gonna have a password and an admin secret on it. So we could make this like another keyboard cat. We could say keyboard Zilby. Zilby's in charge of Hasura. You don't need a volume. Okay, so then that should work. All right, let's, okay, you're all saved. Let's try this. Invalid because services.hasura environment hasura GraphQL enable console contains true, which is an invalid type. It should be a string, number, or null. Well, fine. So out of curiosity, how many of you have used GraphQL before? Okay, so starting API server. I think this is up. Let's go ahead. TGG1256, hello. You have used GraphQL. Uncle Scientist, you have not used GraphQL. How do you like it, TGG? Personally, I love GraphQL. It's like my favorite. It's my favorite trick now. Stacking, you've played with it, but nothing serious. Okay, interesting. Are you thinking of doing something more serious, like actually using it in a real app? All right, so load up localhost 8000, and it's now asking us for our enter admin secret. The Hasura logo is really dark. This is supposed to all be a light background, but we have the dark mode on, so. This was keyboard there'll be. Never save. And here we go. We have Hasura running. This is, hold on, absolutely huge. Hide for now, don't show again. Now you can go big again. It's interesting you can't find the reason to use the reason to use GraphQL. Okay, so the reason for me to use GraphQL is especially, I think using Hasura is sort of like a secret weapon in trying to use GraphQL, because it allows us to create a single API with almost no effort whatsoever. So normally with GraphQL, you have to create all of these like queries and like sort of backends, like to prep things, to create the schemas and all that stuff. But with Hasura here, I pointed at the database. We're going to come over to data. We're going to manage this. I'm going to track games. And now if I come over to API, I now have the ability to query all the games. So we can just say, just give me all these, or just some of them. And GraphQL is set up and all the queries work. If I had relationships, I can also track those relationships, and they just all work magically too. And it works with Postgres, because all the other GraphQL stuff that I've used was worked best with non-relational databases. This just magic works. So that's one reason. The other reason is I can connect multiple databases to Hasura. They all show up here behind one interface. And now you have a single API you go to, and it doesn't even matter which database you're using. It just figures it out, which is really cool. I love it. Know your day job. We depend on caching way too much, so the CTO has already put out a default no. You depend on cache. Wait, but you can cache with GraphQL. Okay, never mind. Whatever. That's their prerogative, I guess. But it's the opposite here, right? Like, I showed this to our CTO, and he's fallen completely in love with it. I think the other reason is because it's easier for us to teach the GraphQL syntax to people than SQL syntax. And then on top of that, they're like, oh, I want to grab this stuff, but because of networking concerns, we really only want to grab these three things. We don't have to go and update some like API endpoint to like say like, oh, like ignore these fields or don't bring in these things. Like, no, I just want ID and name. Don't give me anything else, or I just want name. Yeah, there we go. And it's super easy. Okay, so we have GraphQL set up here. The way this works is I can actually send requests to this using these keys. Now, in a future experimentation, we're going to be locking this down. So obviously just having a complete total secret that everything can read is a kind of violation of security, because, you know, this key can also mutate everyone's data, and it won't. There's things that are not great about it. But if I wanted to like limit it down by like, oh, you can only get certain things, or you can only get your thing, then I think that would be much better, and kind of what we're going for. That's all what like this stuff is set up for. Okay, so what do I want to do with this? I think now we have this. What I want to be able to do is set up Axum and also set up Yew individually to be able to consume this API. So send off GraphQL requests to like get data, which means we should probably add some data in here. So to mutate, let's say I want to like create a game. We're gonna insert games. I can create multiple at the same time. It's asking me for objects, what I want to put in. Right now, we know that ID has a default, so we're not gonna override that. I'm gonna put in a name. Objects right now, I'm gonna make that an array. Okay, so for one name, we can do what are some games? I guess like one that I recently finished playing is the main campaign for Outer Wilds. That's good. How about another game? Let's see. I was watching some people play there's Grand Theft Auto, so GTA 5. That's probably enough for like just 2 right now. But if you have any others, I'll add them in. This is a bulk insert. Now this is going to yell at me because there must be a response here. So we're going to do returning. Oh, Path of Exile. And you just started yesterday. So I had an ex-coworker who really loved, I probably still loves it. I wouldn't mind trying it out. I've heard really good things about it. And I haven't played that kind of action game in a long time. I do remember seeing the a skill tree, or I don't even think it's a tree. It's like a just giant circle thingy. I remember getting like instantly overwhelmed before I even looked at any of them. Oh, Elden Ring, yeah, those are good too. I'll add a few of those. Elden Ring is one that I want to play, but I've never played very far into any of the Dark Souls games. I want to, and I don't know. I don't know what really stops me. I think I keep on running out of time, and so I don't have like very much time per session to play, which makes it really hard to get used to a difficult enemy. Stanley Parable just had that update, didn't they? I'm just gonna keep these ones. So we have 4 games now. So we're returning. Let's return the ID. Oh, you know what? That's true. I completely forgot about that. I played a bit of Tyranny on stream, and then realized that it wasn't very like safe for streaming. There was, well, okay, safe for my streaming. I'm much more family friendly than like what Tyranny wanted to be. So I did finish it off stream, and then I just like never started playing games on stream again because I completely forgot about that. It's not my habit. Outer Wilds would have been a good one to play on stream. Right now I'm stuck on the expansion, the DLC for it, and it's like I'm too terrified to continue. It's like I'm terrible at scary games. Where is that? Okay, so I want to go to my channel. Okay, pause you, don't play. Edit panels. Current game. I'm just going to remove current game section. Is there like a save button? Nope. All right, that is gone. Thank you, Uncle Scientist, for that. All right, so back to you. So if I run this create game now, we now have all of these items, and so if I run my query, here we get those back. And so I can say, you know what, having the IDs kind of sucks. I don't need them. So just, I only want the names. And there you go. Okay, we have the names now. It just makes it so that way the you sort of like transition some of the control of like what you want over to the you shift it over to like the consumer a little bit more, as opposed to like a database admin or like a backend developer, which I think is great because it allows for front-end developers to do more work faster. Or in a case of like at my work, it's people in like actual the Unity editor are like now doing GraphQL requests, and they're like, can I only get this thing? Like, we want to really only get that one thing. He's like, yeah, just request for that one thing only. It's like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. Okay, so we have this. Then, see, here's our secret keyboard Zilby. I want to sort of prove that I can do this. So we're going to open up Thunder Client, do a new request. Okay, so this is kind of weird. GraphQL is always a post, even if you're getting data. It's always a post because you're sending a query, and a query could be a mutation or a query. So it's always a post. This is the endpoint we're going to. Then request headers, we have to have content type application JSON. And in this case, we have to have an Hasura admin secret, but it would be possible for us to set up another header for authentication that they would need. For right now, we're just going to go with this. And then value is this keyboard Zilby. Okay, so we're going to go into body and do GraphQL. All right, so we're going to have query get games. That name doesn't matter in any way whatsoever. Inside of here, we're going to have the actual query itself. So that's games. If I want to like sort it or do anything else, that would happen like in here. Then let's get the ID and the name. I can have variables to send with it. So like there's all sorts of like interesting things you can do for like limiting things down, but let's not worry about that. Parse failed, expected object but encountered string. Query my query. That games. What did I do wrong here? Oh, variables. expected object. I think I just have to have like an empty object. And there it goes. Okay. So if I want to like sort these, that's certainly possible. It's a lot easier to write these things here because I get a little bit of help. So I can do a, we can do an order by, can actually go look at, let's order by ID descending. I'm gonna take that. Add it here. And now we have it in reverse order. So it's just like little things like this is, it basically, like the way Hasura makes it, it's essentially now SQL, but written with GraphQL language. And once we get into relationships, things become so much more powerful because at that point, I don't have to like do joins. I just like say, hey, I want this other thing and give me like its things inside of it. And GraphQL takes care of it for you. So the more complex your data structure is, the complexity of the GraphQL query does not grow with it. So it, or at least not as fast. So it makes it a lot, it makes it easy to handle complex data structures. Okay, so I have you going here. What's our time? It's 8:06. I don't really have time to start integrating this into Yew, but we can start maybe looking into it. Okay, I'm going to want to put into env. So I'm going to do that down here. I want to put in the GraphQL URI, and then the GraphQL key. Okay, so I've got that saved away. We can do a start here. That'll load up all those environment variables. They're available to me inside here now, which now means, let's see, we're last on the Stripe stuff. So if I want to list like the games out, we'll do a page. No, not a folder for this. We'll do a page for this. I guess we could do that as the name of our component. Okay, so we're almost done. And then at our main library, we'll add in another route here. So link to routes. This is going to be to GraphQL. In localhost 8080, we can now go to GraphQL, and here we are on the GraphQL sort of page to sort of play around with this. So at least we're set up for in the future for hanging out and doing this. Sylvie almost came down here. I think he wanted to go into the closet, but he got distracted. Okay, so the front end generally makes these type of requests directly to GraphQL. So this removes any need for having a backend proxy that these requests go through. Generally speaking, to secure these things, we would be putting in a token, like a JSON web token for GraphQL in the header that we would get from something like Auth0 to authenticate it. Right now, we're just using this this admin header, so it's not the best, but should be a good stand-in for at least like having the appropriate header later. So let's see. If I want like okay, so the first thing we want to do is like actually get a list of games. We want to request out, and we need so for you sending in a request, okay, we can use requasm, or we can use requasm, or we can just use gluenet. Like either of those are fine. I think gluenet actually is using request or requasm behind the scenes anyways, so that's fine. What is it that I guess like how do I set how is GraphQL sent manually? So GraphQL sort of like manual query send. And so what I want to know is like, what do I need to send in like the body of the statement? Is can I see that? Not really there. Do you show me? Okay, can you show me actually what you sent? Not really. Is this just stringified? Is it just like a string? Oh yeah, okay, content. New string content. So it stringified the query like this. And oh, this is C#. Curl. Okay, so sends a post to that, sets the headers, data raw. So it says this in a body is just a string. Okay, that's easy enough. So all we need to do is turn this into a string, which means I need to find a GraphQL crate that will allow me to write a real GraphQL query and then compile that into just I guess a string. And I'm out of time, but let's see if we can find one super fast. So there is just GraphQL. There's an async GraphQL. This one is used a lot more often. That other one has like the most often, like is being used most often recently. So let's investigate that. Plus we're in an async environment, so this might be better. Apollo tracing. Wait, is this the same Apollo that is used for other web apps? So Apollo GraphQL is a thing, and it's often used in React, in Vue. It has great documentation, and it sort of like does a lot of caching behind the scenes for you. It's pretty awesome. It's also completely unnecessary because it's super easy to send things off to GraphQL. Like as you can see, you can just throw it into the body. All you need is something to compile the GraphQL, which Apollo does also have. But do they have a? Am I reading that correctly? That like, is that an unofficial one, or do they officially have Rust stuff? So we have React, iOS, Kotlin, Server Federation Router, Studio, Rover. Okay, so it doesn't look like they officially support Rust yet. All right, maybe they're working on it, and that's like a crate that they're working towards. Or maybe it's just somebody talking about like being compatible with Apollo. But anyways, I'm thinking the plan. No Rust, you're out. Yeah, I know. Well, I don't think we need it because as you can see, all we have to do is just take the query they want to get, turn it into a string, and then there we go. We're good to go. So all we need is a crate that can take in that query and turn it into a string. That's all we really need. Oh, this is a GraphQL server library. I don't need a server library. I need a tool that allows me to write GraphQL queries Yeah, so, okay, they're going to just use request here. I know, I could. All right, so make cargo compiles GraphQL. All right. This might be what we experiment with. So I'm gonna pull this in here, and we're gonna say, okay, for GraphQL, using that as the GraphQL library. At least that's what we're going to start with and experiment with. So that being said, I have a meeting to get ready for. Let's see, today is it? It's my full meeting. Okay, so it's not in 10 minutes, but I do have to get ready for it. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream for the day. I will be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Mountain Time. We'll continue on with this. It looks like we're going to start with creating some GraphQL queries, figure out how to actually get that set up in the front end. Hopefully it can just work for us, and then move on from there. So with that, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.